Good morning again, everyone. This time, here at the National Honey Show, we're going to be talking to Tom, who is here with a stand downstairs from the National Bee Unit, and he's going to tell us about the Asian hornet. So, Tom, what's different between the hornets that we normally have in this country and the Asian hornet, and why is this such a problem?
Yeah, well, basically the European hornet, native hornet to the UK, looks very much like a very large wasp. It has but the body of it is predominantly sort of a dark brown colour, mid to dark brown colour, and its abdomen is generally a yellow, very obvious yellow and dark black striped abdomen with dark legs, and the face is very orange. The Asian hornet, or the yellow-legged hornet, in comparison, is a very dark, predominantly black hornet, has yellow legs, hence the yellow-legged hornet name, and with a very obvious, very orange stripe on the fourth segment on its abdomen.
So are we now going to be referring to it as the yellow-legged hornet, as that is such a feature for identification?
Yeah, we now refer to it as the yellow-legged hornet because the name gives it its most obvious identifying features, as in yellow legs, and so that's.
So, what is the impact of the invasion of this new ferocious insect into this country?
It's a non-native insect for the UK. No other insect in the UK has evolved alongside this insect. It is a ferocious appetite for all insects. It's a danger to all insects, life cycles in the UK predominantly, and also a very, very big risk to European honeybees.
So how is it spreading? How much of a problem is it here?
It's becoming a bigger problem, certainly last year in 2023, where we actually had 72 nests across the UK discovered, and we eradicated. This year, so far, we've discovered 20 nests this year.
So what's the extent of the spread? I mean, we would expect it to come in perhaps with ferries, so it would be around the coast?
Yeah, that's looking last year and this year, the predominant areas have been Kent and East Sussex this year, which we believe possibly is coming in either on freight, but also there is a potential with favourable conditions that it can be blown across the channel on strong winds.
So what can people do to help? Is it easy to detect it? Do we need to monitor it? Is there a mechanism for doing that?
Yeah. we need awareness, really. None of everything that we do doesn't really work without obviously people first recognising the hornet out in the environment. Be that on this time of year, could still be seen on flowering ivy. Early in the season, the queens could be seen looking in sheds, trying to build small embryotic nests to start their nests, where they build 2 nests a year. And so monitoring in the spring for looking for the queens, is trying to establish nests. And then from that, in late spring into early summer, workers will be out foraging, looking for insects to feed to their young, and then we can be looking there. Beekeepers then can start monitoring in their apiaries, looking for hornets that are hawking and foraging on their, looking to feed off their honeybees and things, monitoring traps put out in places, and of course continued awareness with brochures and literature that can be used, put up at schools, local parks, allotment sites, everywhere really, just to keep raising awareness.
And there's a phone app, isn't there, for the identification?
Yeah, Asian Hornet Watch app. You can put it onto your phone, either iPhone or Android. And if you identify a hornet and you see one, you can photograph it, you can record it on the app and send it straight into the UK CAH, who will then send that over to the bee unit to follow up.
And has that been successful? Have people been reporting them in, and that's resulted in some control?
Absolutely. It's vital. It's very vital that people use that. And even if people report things, they think it might be an Asian hornet, they're not sure, there might be one, report it anyway. There are tens of thousands of reports that go through every year, and most of those are obviously not Asian hornet, but we'd much sooner have all those reported than the one goes that slips by and doesn't get reported.
Right. So you said they build 2 nests a year. So how do they spread? Do they produce queens that go off and start a new nest?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a bit like all the Vespa families. At the end of the season, they'll start to produce in round about September. They'll produce drones first, the male hornets first. About 2 weeks later, they start to produce gynes, which are the virgin queens. Obviously, they emerge from the nest. They mate with the drones. And those mated queens then seek somewhere to hibernate, somewhere cool and dry in the environment. And that could be in dried logs, it could be in sheds, it could be in buildings, it could be in freight, and that's how they end up being moved around by lorries and things. And then those hibernating queens in the spring, when it warms up, around about March, April time, emerge to go and seek to look out to build their embryotic nest initially, very small nest, and then that embryotic nest turns into a primary nest, often low down. It could be in a shed, it could be in bramble, low down.
Can it be underground? In my garden at the moment, I've got a wasp's nest. It's not bothering me. It's just underground.
Yeah. Very, very rarely they build underground. It has happened. We have had one in the UK last year that was in the ground, but it's extremely
often low
rare.
down.
The primary nest is often low down. Can be in brambles. We find an awful lot of primary nests in brambles, and then from that they start to build their secondary nest, which is often very high up in the tall limbs of a nearby tree, often within about 50 meters of that primary nest.
So the aim is to completely control the incidence and the spread, if we possibly can.
Yeah, we're very much focused on eradication. It has to be. We have to try and stop them establishing. If they establish, they have the potential to change the landscape of the UK for insect life, and then that which can affect larger animals going forward.
So has this actually happened on the close continent?
Yeah, in France, obviously in 2004, when the first ones were reported in France, thought to have come over from Southeast Asia in a consignment of pottery, and hibernating queens. They thought it maybe just 1 or 2 queens arrived, and from there on, they've spread right through France, they're down through Spain, into Portugal, now going into Belgium, Netherlands, things. Yeah, they will, because there's nothing to check their progress. There's no natural balance in the environment for them to stop their spread, so they will.
So it's down to us. It's down to you, me, the public.
Yeah.
And we need all the help we can get.
The first line of defense is that notification and people spotting them out in the field. That's the first line of defense. Is that yeah.
So if you get stung by a wasp, it's a pain. If you get stung by a hornet, it's worse.
Yeah.
What about an Asian hornet? Do they sting us?
Yeah, they will sting you. They will sting you. They're not aggressive towards us per se. They won't attack you because they just feel that's what they want to do. They will only attack you if you disturb their nest, for instance, and that's why the worry is, of course, if there's a primary nest in brambles or in low down in a shed or something, and someone goes in there by accident, disturbs that nest, then they will get stung by these hornets. Yeah.
Right.
But it shouldn't be any more worse really than the European hornet sting, really.
Oh, something nice to look forward to. Right. Well, you've got a lovely stand here at the show, and you've got some superb examples there. You've got an actual representation of a hornet's nest, haven't you, in a case?
Yeah, well, it's actually a piece of an actual Asian hornet nest,
and a superb model. And we'll revisit those when we have a walk around the show later, and make a point of showing how they really look.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Tom.
You're very welcome.
And everybody out there, keep vigilant and come and visit the show and have a look at the models, chat to everybody at the AFA stand, the MBU, and they'll be pleased to fill you in and help you with the identification.
You'll be very welcome to come along and chat to us all day if you want to.